Hi everybody, you're tuning in to Learn English Bersama Madam Azimah and I'm Madam Azimah. It's Wednesday again. So that means we're going to learn English and I have for you Malaysian English slang words. There are 11 of them and I want to test whether you have been using them just among Malaysians or are you using it with non-Malaysians and see whether they understand you. So these words are actually borrowed from the English language, but we have Malaysianized it. And so among Malaysians, we understand each other. Even among Singaporeans, we may understand each other. But among natives, they may not understand you. But we'll see. We'll see. Let's compare. Let's look at the differences. So are you guys ready? Okay, if you are, let's do this. Okay. Now, the first word is slumber. So I'm going to spell it the English way, Slumber. The Malaysian way, or is it the Malay way? Selamba, slumber. Slumber. Even the pronunciation is slightly different. So when we say muka dia slumber, right? What we mean here is this person doesn't look worried. This person looks really calm, muka dia slumber, or attitude dia slumber, right? Character dia memang dia jenis slumber, right? Slumber. Not worried, not anxious, very calm. But in English, this is the thing, in English, slumber is a noun. It means to be asleep. So I'm going to give you an example. Let's say it's Rapunzel, okay? Rapunzel. Rapunzel fell into a deep and peaceful slumber. Slumber, tertidur, right? Tidur. Okay, that's what it means, slumber. Or in American English, they use this to describe like a sleepover, like at a party where normally young girls, they go over to their friend's house, they have a sleepover. So they'll have what we call a slumber party. The girls went to a slumber party. What we mean by that is a place where they have a sleepover at their friend's house. That's slumber. So it's different from, let's say, muka slumber. All right, muka slumber, someone's not worried. But could it mean that someone who's not worried, almost as if he's sleepy? I'm not sure. Okay. Number 2, blur, B-L-U-R. So in Manglish, Manglish is an informal way of describing Malaysian English, so it's understood among Malaysians. In Manglish term, blur, it means confused or ignorant. Confused or ignorant. So normally I have students who have told me, I'm so blur to speak in English, or I feel so blur. What they mean by blur is confused, right? Or sometimes ignorant, someone who lacks knowledge, confused or lack knowledge. So I feel so blur, confused. Now, in standard English, the best way to say this when you feel so blur because you can't speak English, you can say, I can't speak English well. I can't speak English well. And if you want to use the word blur, you'd use it like when you describe you're in a state of confusion. You're in a state of confusion, so that event was just a blur. It was all just a blur to me. I can't remember what happened. It was all just a blur. But you don't really describe your feelings a blur. I felt so blur. You really use it that way. Okay? Number 3, action. The word action. In English, it's spelled A-C-T-I-O-N. In Malaysian English, EKSEN. When we call someone who's so orang tu action, right? We mean orang tu, right, perasan bagus, berlagak, menunjuk-nunjuk. So menunjuk-nunjuk, perasan bagus. In English, it's cocky. For a guy, I've never heard of anyone calling a woman, a girl, cocky. So it's normally used for a guy, someone who's very arrogant, cocky, right? Perasan bagus. Overconfident or arrogant or a show off. So it's a negative word. So if you want to say somebody is very action, you say, he's such a show-off with his expensive cars. Such a show-off. Okay, for example. All right. Number 4, the word power. 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 And I've heard people say, wow, he's so power. He's so power at doing presentations. Or, wow, English dia power. Wow, English dia power. Now, in standard English, when we want to praise somebody, you can just say something like this. Wow, he is good at presenting. Or his presentation skills are awesome. Awesome. So we don't use power in that sense, okay, for standard English. Now, if you say English dia power, you can say he is very fluent in English. He's very fluent in English instead of English dia power. But again, we understand because we are Malaysians, we understand when we talk about power in that sense. Okay. Number 5, this word boring. Boring. Okay, boring. When you're stuck in a meeting and you say, oh, boring lah meeting ni, tak sabar nak habis. Or you're describing your feelings, I tengah boring. I tengah boring, jom kita keluar, I tengah boring. Now, in standard English, instead of saying boring lah meeting ni, it would be, this meeting is boring. This meeting is dull, boring, right? I can't wait for it to be over. This meeting is boring. But if you want to say, you want to describe yourself, how you feel, it would be, I am bored. To replace I tengah boring, because that's mixing English and Malay. I tengah boring, saya tengah boring. I am bored, B-O-R-E-D. Careful here because the word boring is something that you describe somebody. So you can say this guy is boring, this woman is boring, the speaker is boring. But if you say I am boring, you are essentially saying you are a very dull kind of person, right? Okay, so be careful. Do you know the differences between bored, boring, and boredom? So you need to find out. Okay. Moving on to number 6, the word terror. Wow, terrornya. Now in English it's spelled T-E-R-R-O-R. In slang form, Malaysian English, terror, T-E-R-R-E-R. So only Malaysians understand when we say, wow, terrornya, when we are praising somebody who's amazingly good at something. So you can say, wow, that was amazing. Or you can replace it with, wow, that was brilliant. That was incredible. So if you say, wow, that was terror, terror means something else. It's scary, terror, terrifying. Terrifying from the word terrifying is scary, right? So you don't really use that word. But again, among Malaysians, we understand each other. So it's okay. All right. Number 7, steady. The word steady, S-T-E-A-D-Y. So in Manglish, when we call somebody who's very steady, what we mean is somebody who's very laid back, somebody who's calm, very composed. So you'd say it like this. Look at her. She wasn't nervous at all. She was so calm. She was calm. Instead of saying, wow, look at her. She's so steady. Steady lah dia tu. Calm would be a better word for that. Calm. Composed was another word. How would you use steady then? Let's look at an example. I took a deep breath to steady my nerves, because your nerves, you're shaking, you're very nervous. I took a deep breath to steady my nerves, to calm myself down, to steady my nerves. But you don't describe yourself being steady. I don't feel steady, all right? Another way, he's my steady boyfriend. She's my steady girlfriend. You're seeing that person for a while now, so you're committed to that person. That's how you would use the word steady, okay? Right. Number 8, budget. Budget, B-U-D-G-E-T, or another way to spell it, the Malaysian way, B-A-J-E-T. Again, this is somebody, when we describe somebody as dia budget bagus, it's not very flattering. It's not very positive to describe dia budget bagus because it means that he's overestimating himself. Overestimating himself. Is it the same as action? Maybe, maybe. So it's like this. When you say dia budget bagus, in English it would be he thinks he's all that. He thinks he's all that. All that is, again, it's slang as well. It's an English slang for the word remarkable or impressive. He thinks he's all that. Dia budget bagus. Budget. But we know budget in English, budget, is related to finance and money. So it's not a way to describe a person. Okay. Number 9, this word best. I love this word because when we say something is best ni benda tu, or best lah cikgu tu, best lah kelas ni, best tu, best ini, we're talking about describing something, right? Describing something. Instead of best, we should use the word awesome, incredible. And so best in standard English, it means the most excellent type or quality. So we're comparing something. For example, this is the best meal I've ever had, or he is one of the best students in my class. So you're comparing that event to, or that person, the best student. He is one of the best students in my class. You're comparing it to others, right? This is the best meal, comparing it to previous meals that you've had before. That's best. Okay. Number 10, uncle or auntie, or auntie spelled A-U-N-T-I-E or A-U-N-T-Y. This is a Malaysian English way of, it's a polite way of addressing or referring to an older man or woman. This is not slang, but it's only understood among Malaysians or Singaporeans. When we talk about, an adult who's older than you, you respect them, but be careful that you don't use it to call people that you don't really know. They're not related to you. Okay, so be careful with that if they're not your parents' sister or brother or friend. Okay. All right, number 11, it's tuition teacher. This is the last word. Tuition teacher, or Malaysians like to say tuition teacher. For non-Malaysians, it's better to call that, or they understand it as a private tutor or tutor instead of tuition teacher. Okay? All right. Okay, so those are the 11 words that only Malaysians understand. And so, tune in next week. We're going to talk more about Malaysian English on Learn English Bersama Madam Azimah. Catch me next week on Wednesday, 12:15 p.m. only on Manis FM, Gaya Pantai Timur.